Hello everyone, my name is Seth. Today I'm going to give you my review of Fallout Season 2. So the first season of Fallout came out and I think it kind of surprised everybody, including myself. I was really looking forward to it, but I didn't think it would be as good as it ended up being. I liked the trailers. I really thought that they had the Fallout tone down right, and I ended up loving the first season. So I was definitely excited for season 2, knowing we are heading out to New Vegas, which many of the game fans, including myself, absolutely love. But before we go any farther, go ahead and like this video, hit subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss a video. Share this video around with any friends or family. It would help the channel grow and it would absolutely make my day. So first things first, in the first season, they absolutely nailed the tone of Fallout. That is something that is incredibly important to do because there is a specific tone to the games. And if you just don't get that tone right, you just have another kind of whatever post-apocalyptic show, and that's not what you need. So from the very first minutes of the first season, they had that Fallout tone, and they do such a good job of carrying that over here to season 2. Graham Wagner and Geneva Robertson Duarte, sorry if I mispronounced those names, but they are the showrunners, and alongside of Jonathan Nolan, I feel like you can tell that there is a lot of love for the games. Heading into a second season, it could have been a little easy just to kind of get lazy on the tone, just kind of do whatever, but they don't do that here. They definitely carry that tone over incredibly well. You still get the wacky characters and the situations that you would expect from Fallout, as well as the humor that feels ripped right out of the games. It is really fun to see some of the factions from New Vegas, like the NCR. We get to see Robert House, which he has done very, very well in this show. I really love the little touches that they had to the first season that really made this feel like the games. And they continue that here. We still get some kind of references to like the VATS system with how they shoot some of the action, how they use some of the cinematography. They keep up the gore and violence that has become a staple in the Fallout series. There were just so many moments in this season where I was like, yep, just like the games, just like what I'm accustomed to seeing. I would say that basically every aspect that they excelled in season 1, they continue to do well and excel in for season 2. As far as the story goes here in this season, I can't help but feel like this is more of a middle chapter instead of a complete story from beginning to end of the season. And yes, it has already been renewed for season 3. Maybe that's something that they were kind of banking on, because if you just look at season 2 from beginning to end, I don't think it really tells a complete story. And understand, if you have more planned, leave it open to continue what you have planned, but at least tell a complete overarching story for your season. We do get some good character development over the course of the season, and that is a big thumbs up for me. That's something that you have to do. Our characters do go on journeys from beginning to end, not just in location, but within themselves. But if you just plan to sit down and watch this season, you're not going to get one complete story from beginning to end. There's not really a strong story arc that you can describe and place on this season. For me, I think season 1 did end with the promise of more, but it still told a complete story. And so that's what I feel like we're missing here, really. So I feel like probably on a rewatch, this season will end up being a little bit better, so you can just watch season 2 and flow directly into season 3 for that kind of complete story arc. But as it stands right now, I wish it was a little bit more complete. But like I had mentioned, we do get some really good character development. We get some really good backstory from our characters, especially Lucy and Maximus and the ghoul / Cooper Howard. The flashbacks to Cooper Howard from before the war, all of that is always incredibly interesting, not just because they're giving us kind of a glimpse into something we've never really seen before in this Fallout universe, but that self-contained story in this flashbacks are very interesting. You want to know what happens next and what leads to the end of the world. But still, making these flashbacks interesting is something that is pretty impressive because it never feels like we're just filling time, we're just jumping away from our main story. Everything we see back then just informs us on the world, on the characters, and it ties in so well to our current day story. And so, like I mentioned, it does give more context to characters, specifically in this season, Cooper Howard, Hank, and Robert House. And I think Cooper Howard and Mr. House had such a really fun antagonistic relationship in these flashbacks, and that was just honestly a high point of this season for me. I also like how over the course of the season we get to see how Lucy is starting to adapt to the Wasteland. She's still the lovable vault dweller that we get in season 1, but being out in the Wasteland changes a person. And so she definitely has had a shift in mentality by the end of this season. And that's really what you want from your characters. You want your characters to grow and develop and change over the course of a season. So even though the story wasn't necessarily as strong as it could have been, I do think that they did a great job on our characters. I will say I just didn't really care for Maximus's character in the first season, and although they do give us some good backstory with him, and I did like that, I still just found myself struggling to connect to his character. I don't really know why. He did have a good moment toward the end of this season, but other than that, every time he was on screen, it's not that I would necessarily check out, but I wasn't as interested. The production design on this season was absolutely top notch. That's another thing that just felt like Fallout. The same thing with the score too. The score was so good. It is just a more cinematic version of a score that you would hear from the Fallout games. And once again, the set and costume design was very, very good. And the CGI in this was great. I feel like you could tell they got a little bit of a bigger budget for this season. We get to see some death claws in full, and they look very good. Just the detail in the models, the way that they were animated, the comping was really great. All of the CG elements in this show felt like it was a part of the scene. I think the action in this season was a lot of fun as well, although I did end up noticing one thing, and it kind of started to distract me a little bit. And the thing I noticed in the action kind of spilled over to the episodes as well. A lot of the episodes did kind of tell a little bit of story here, cut to black, jump somewhere else, tell a little bit of story here, cut to black. And that's kind of how a lot of the action was edited as well, especially when there was multiple things going on at once in different locations. And so I started to notice that in a lot of the action sequences, and then I started to really notice that just in the episodes themselves. And for me, that ended up being a little distracting, kind of pulled me out a little bit. You can do a cut to black and going somewhere else for a stylistic choice, for an impact moment, but they just did it so much that it honestly distracted me. So overall, I do have to say I had a really, really good time with season 2. I think I liked it honestly just as good as I did the first season. Basically, every aspect that they excelled in season 1, they continue to do well and excel in for season 2. Getting to spend more time in this world and with these characters is just a lot of fun, and especially on the character side, they executed so many things well. There's a few editing and pacing issues I did have, and maybe there's a character or two I didn't necessarily connect with. And again, it also does kind of feel like a middle chapter without a real beginning, middle, and end to this season, but that really didn't take away too much from my enjoyment. And if you liked the first season of Fallout, I am pretty sure you will like the second season as well. But that's it. That's my review of Fallout Season 2. Have you seen this season? Let me know what you thought in the comment section down below. I'd absolutely love to have a conversation with you about it. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to like this video, hit subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss a video. You can follow me on social media pretty much anywhere at CinemaSeth, and I'll see you next time.